Okay. Oh, and I got a cool screen share too. Um, there's no critters in it, but it's certainly soothing to watch and listen to. So I'll post that once we get doing the thing. We may be live now, and I never know until maybe we're not live now. Setting up your YouTube live thing meeting. But we could be on. I don't know. It's possible. Did you do the gratitude thing this morning and I missed it? I slept in because
I did.
somebody kept me up till I don't know 4:30 this morning.
That
There we go.
sounds good.
Now we appear to be live.
We are
Sherry
live.
Purdy, how are you? Well, this is a calming and comforting title. Yeah, we picked it for that very reason.
Yep, that's just how we rolled. We're the best at pep talks in the
Yeah.
world.
You know,
Also,
you're having
like
a
just
good day when you quote Country Joe and the Fish. Baby Yoda.
Yep.
Yeah, Baby Yoda's in the shot. So good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Bubble Views. Nice to see you. Man, you're up. This middle of the day where you are. Never mind. I was thinking, well, you're up early, but I'm thinking I was traveling the other way around the globe instead of your way around the globe.
In your mind, grapes.
Yeah. Somebody else sent me a link yesterday, Bubble Views, that apparently you guys had a real quicksand story in the Netherlands yesterday. Quicksand came up because we apparently vastly overestimated what a threat quicksand would be from when we were kids, but underestimated the threat that cooties would be when we were kids. That seems to be a thing. So, good morning, Deb, Marcotte. Sherry, I burst out laughing when I read it. Morning, Michelle. Nice to see you. Dave Myers, how are you, man? Nah, only about 2 to 5% of us, depending on your geographic location, says Dave Myers. So there we go. Good morning, Shereen Elkins, Donna Van Meter. Is today a great day to die? I don't know. It's a great day to go out in the Gulf in a boat.
There you go.
Boat out past the breakers and watch the world die, to quote the president of the United States of America.
Anthony on that organizer thread said, every time I read an article on Medium about the coronavirus, my conclusion is that it would be far less painful to feed myself to a wood chipper. Damn, Daniel. Speaking of that, I kind of want to go over that at some point.
Yes.
So I was just pulling that.
I would not recommend it.
No. I'm just pulling that article up.
Okay. Yeah. So good morning, everybody. I came to air. I don't know. Corey may be more prepared than me, but I came to air this morning with absolutely no. I haven't had any news cycle contact in like 24 hours.
That's healthy, if you ask me. I think that's super duper smart.
Yeah, except for checking the number, which jumped by over 1,000 between Wednesday and today
in Florida.
Yeah. So I'm on day 13 of quarantine and all is well. Deb Marcotte. Yeah, so you're free to leave the house tomorrow, I think is how that works out. 14 days. And then
although I mean I think they do have like still, only leave the house if you need groceries kind of thing. Sorry, I'm kicking my shit all over the place.
Sherry corrected me. That was Everclear, not Presidents of the United States. You know what? I knew that. Was Everclear. I don't know how I messed that up. Corey's your mic. Did you bump your mic button or something? You still there?
I moved it. Can you hear me?
You were moving your lips and no sound was coming out for a second there, and I panicked. So I thought you were doing the old Billy Crystal. Wait. Billy Crystal used to do a mic check routine in his stand-up act, and it was kind of funny.
Is that from like the olden times?
Yes, Billy Crystal.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Don't even tell me you don't know who Billy Crystal is,
dude. I'm joking. Okay. That was a joke. It's
funny. Hard to tell because
I don't know if you knew that
you're missing from living in a bus.
No, that's true. That is true. There are some things that I have missed on occasion.
Seinfeld, for instance.
Yeah, that would be one of them.
Being eaten by a tiger. What isn't better than being eaten by a tiger?
Okay, so Michelle's parents were watching the Tiger King, and so I started watching the Tiger King, and when the funeral,
you watched it because they were watching it. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, I seriously did not want to watch it, but it's like, I mean, now granted, like that's what got me into hockey too. So whatever, it works out in the end, that kind of thing. So it's crazy anyway. Like, okay, all these people are freaking lunatics and nuts, and he starts running for governor and he starts running for president. I'm like, yep, this is exactly what's wrong with America because it works, to some degree or another.
Right.
And then his boy husband / property shoots himself, and they have a funeral, and that's where things got weird. That's where like I was just looking at Gene and Gary like, is this Is he talking about the boy's balls at his funeral? Testicles?
I
Is that
hope
what?
they talk about my balls at my funeral. Frankly,
I mean, now that you
they're
say that out loud,
impressive.
that actually kind of makes a little bit more sense. I mean, no male's balls are impressive. That's not a thing. Like, I don't care what. Like, if you're a guy who thinks my balls are amazing, you're fucking provably wrong. If they're ridiculous, they're completely ridiculous. Anyway,
I think we should take a poll.
We could, and that poll is going to be 98% of people think that male balls look fucking ridiculous.
I gotta think of a list of people who have seen my balls who are still speaking to me. It's a pretty short list.
I'm pretty sure that proves my point.
So Mishi is sitting on the couch behind my computer, trying really, really hard to stifle laughter right now. Michelle Flood, totally digging that Instacart, Whole Foods, and Amazon have all done strikes. Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing some more of that. I think this is a good time for labor, essential quote unquote labor, to leverage their position in being willing to put their lives on the line to get you groceries from Whole Foods.
Yeah, and it's almost like what you said. The way that you just said it makes total sense, but I feel like it's almost like, it's a good time to leverage because their perceived value, like business speak, they can sort of be in a good position. But I also think that like it's do or die, right? From their position, it's like, we're the ones doing all of this stuff, and the relationship between labor and management is still, we're effectively slaves unless we want to leave our job and go starve ourselves to death.
Right.
It's just, it's not okay.
Yeah.
In potentially starker terms, I suppose.
Bubble V says numbers for Corona in the Netherlands are good today, starting to flatten out.
That's good news.
See if that remains a trend. Deb Marquette, yes, but we're on national lockdown except for groceries and pharmacy. Right. Michelle, I quit going off on anyone on Twitter and Facebook. It's totally pointless.
Can confirm.
I get sucked in once in a while, but for the most part, which would you rather get eaten by, a tiger or a shark? A tiger shark.
No, that's cheap.
That's a real thing. They are in fact one of the kinds of sharks that bites people and kills them sometimes.
Yeah, no, I know, but it was also like super weak sauce in the weak sauce department.
Bubble V says tiger for sure. I don't like the sea.
Fair enough.
That reduces your odds of being eaten by a shark by a lot. It's practically nearly impossible to get eaten by a shark if you don't ever go in the ocean. That's a fact. Although I can think of 3 recorded actual shark attacks that happened on land.
What?
I can tell you 2 stories off the top of my head about people getting bitten by sharks that were not in the ocean.
Okay. Yeah, okay, sharks, blah, blah, blah. And yes, this is me operating in perfect denial, and I'm comfortable with that. Dave Myers brought up Debs. Have you guys started watching Debs yet?
I have not. No.
Okay. Can that go to like the top of your list?
Maybe.
Because I posted a few days ago, and I still maintain that this is entirely accurate. So I had watched the first half an hour of Tiger Kings. I was like, Debs is approximately 10 to the power of all of the numbers better than Tiger King. And quite frankly, it's the kind of show we need a hell of a lot more of. If we wanted to look at stupid, we could just look at the president of the United States. It's Tiger King just with a better suit. That's all it is. That's the life we're living already. Times a pandemic. It's fucking bullshit. Des, on the other hand, is what happens if you make a giant fucking supercomputer and you can look backward and forward in time with almost perfect resolution. It's a lot more interesting. And they actually get into like the whole idea behind determinism, period, which you listen to any of the sort of theoretical physicists working right now, that's kind of all the marbles. Like if you talk to Sean Carroll, who does the Mindscape podcast, theoretical physicist, probably top 10, 15 in the world, he basically said that as far as the math is concerned, the entire past and the entire future are all completely and totally stuck in place. We're just moving through this particular moment of it, and it looks like time is actually happening, but it's only because of a trick of physics like a
Disney ride.
Exactly. Like determinism, as far as they're concerned, is absolute. And he said the only thing that adds flexibility into the system, and again, top 10, top 15 theoretical physicists on the planet is the many worlds theory, which they actually also get into in Debs. And like it's sort of, and it Ex Machina, and it's the same guys that made this, so like it sort of makes sense, but they really ramp up the human story capacity of it to try and draw everyone in to it, and that kind of gets a little performative to me because
it's a performance. So
like it's these are some of they're supposed to be the smartest people on the face of the earth, and they're like super obsessed and psychotic about a very arguably, they're very human, but they're also like, stuff that people get over every day.
Yeah,
not easily.
One of my moments for that was the alien movie Prometheus. They send the best scientists in the world to this other world, and the first thing one of them does start playing with a life form in a puddle, and it's like
seriously
with his bare hands. I'm like,
stop.
No, that's not how this works. I mean, if they'd made that guy, like a truck driver from the show who was playing with a life form in a puddle,
that would make so much more sense. A
lot more like Tiger King. So I went full circle there.
So, nailed it.
Yeah, one of the attacks was on Sarasota Beach, and somebody was sunbathing. The tide came in, and a shark rode a wave in on the tide and bit this woman by the leg and dragged her into the water.
Anyway, Dave Myers said it's only perfect resolution when they factor in the multiverse theory, though, which factors out determinism. It makes my brain itch. So the thing is, like, that doesn't actually factor out determinism at all. It just means that it's slightly more complex than not.
Right. The other one was a marine biologist who cut open a nurse shark that they were not an autopsy, but a necropsy.
Yeah.
And they cut the nurse shark open, and she was gravid, meaning she had, they bear live young. They don't lay eggs. And he picked up one of the baby sharks by the tail, and it swung around and bit him on the chest. And they had to have it surgically removed because when nurse sharks bite, they tend to hold on.
Yep.
And they had to take this guy to the hospital and have the nurse shark like surgically removed from his chest. But it left like a little medallion size hickey of tooth marks on his chest.
You have weird stories. Sherry said, I've been watching Ozark's. Jason Bateman is so underrated. I completely and totally agree. That shit is awesome. No. Sherry also said, sorry, go ahead.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Yeah.
Sherry also said, I was also today years old when I realized it wasn't Jason Bateman in Firefly. It was Nathan Fillion. That is entirely accurate.
Captain Tight Pants, played by Nathan Fillion.
Sigh.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, like, what's one of the best shows that was canceled, and that was like the only answer.
Yeah,
Firefly should have had 40 years of episodes.
Yep. I if I'm gonna get a tattoo, it's probably gonna be the Firefly class ship with "I aim to misbehave" under it. I would like to have that tattooed on me somewhere. Greg, did she die? She did not die. She did lose her foot, however, in that shark attack. That's like 1972, 74, somewhere. It's a long time ago. And I'm that guy who will read shark attack files. Yep, there's several books of collections of shark attack stories. Yeah, reality is dreamed up by a giant turtle. I value that answer equally to any physics answer. It is, in fact, turtles all the way down. You play a song for us, Corey?
No, I'm gonna. This is my. I value that statement as equally as any physics face. I do like that phrase.
Well, theoretical physics is how we came to understand and know for a scientific reality fact that black holes exist. I went to school when they were still theoretical, and we have observational data now. So physics theories are great. Dave, I thought Bubblevies picked the ultimate fight just then, but Dave Myers, we greatly disagree about Firefly.
That is so ridiculous that I will not entertain it with any speech of mine whatsoever.
It's Sturgill, Laurie James, Sturgill Simpson, not Sturgis Simpson, but close enough. I actually I
always get that exactly that wrong.
Yeah, we watched I don't know, maybe 2 hours of videos of him performing, and dude is way more amazing than the songs you've heard on the radio. He is.
Can confirm.
Yeah, pretty crazy good. It's Minecraft blocks all the way down, says Bob Benson, all the way down to minus 6 blocks, where you hit bedrock and you can't go any further.
Right. Yeah, Casey said not to worry. Jared's got his thing now. So Jared Kushner is apparently saving us all from the pandemic now. Like I can just go home. Everything's good.
Right.
Is that what's happening? I saw that in a headline and I was like, the amount of information that I want to now onboard about Jared Kushner is far less than zero.
Yeah.
So I just looked away. Bubble the fact that black holes exist, there's no proof yet. That is categorically, completely, and totally false. Please try again. Yeah, just like a basic Google will help you with the whole black hole thing. Yeah.
Huh. My son's beautiful girlfriend was an extra in Ozark. She played a sex worker that hit the slot machine. Everybody was clapping around her. That's cool. Cool.
Yeah, so some computer generated image is no proof for a black hole. If you understand how the computer image was generated, it absolutely is. If you understand the results that came out of LIGO, which is the gravitational wave detector, not only do black holes exist, but they actually calculated and knew exactly how much the signal was going to be of two black holes fucking banging into each other like 70 galaxies away. So you're completely and totally wrong. Try again.
Hawking radiation. That's my full answer.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons
Google
of those, right? Like there's
there's
a ridiculous amount of evidence for that. And since we're all evidence-based thinkers around here,
Jared sent dry rotted masks to Alabama, says Ginny.
It's like the worst ongoing joke. Like if we decided, Greg, to like,
is there a blue state that starts with an A and he just made a mistake?
Maybe but yeah, nobody cares about Alabama. Jared Kushner proved it. But like if we were gonna start making up jokes, like lying about dumb things the administration does, we would not get it this right. Like if we were trying to overdo it to be just for comedic effect, we would never think like after all of this, Jared Kushner then took control, because obviously we would have done that, but then sent like a shipment of dry rotted masks to Alabama. That wouldn't have made our list because we're not a B movie operation here, right? Like that's like it's not even a B movie operation. It's like get the worst writers in the room and only put the dumbest lines in, which is actually how they make Transformers movies.
I can't wait for the Big Short movie version of this presidency. Like somebody's going to make a movie about this presidency, and I hope it's the people that made The Big Short, because
I think they're working on that already.
I think that needs to be told.
Bubba Biz, you're not more skeptical. You're just more wrong.
LIGO is a scam. I think he's just fucking with you now.
All right. Oh my God. Did you seriously say LIGO is a scam?
Yeah.
Fuck you, troll. I don't have time for fucking trolls right now, dude. Talk about triggering.
We don't need robot doctors. We have a ventriloquist dummy in charge. Very good.
That's funny.
Yeah. Keeping it real from Colorado this morning. And there wasn't a black hole. If there wasn't a black hole, how would one get from the Alpha to the Delta quadrant? Exactly.
Well, for the record, wasn't a black hole, it was a wormhole, but thanks for playing.
There you go.
But good reference though anyway. Sorry for being nitpicky.
I'm a little more of a skeptic than you guys. There's a difference between being a skeptic and being a
wrong.
Naysayer.
Like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you're a skeptic, you're like, no, dude, the sun doesn't come up in the morning. That's just a blah blah blah. Well, cool, you're wrong.
Oh, yeah. Jared said the nation's stock is ours. Then the states need to have their own. Wow.
Yeah. So fuck you all. Basically, what he's saying.
Laugh track piping in there.
What'd she say?
She said, "Yeah, so fuck you all," basically.
Right? Like, how does that
even? Okay. So let's follow the logic circuit that's required to make this convoluted determination that Jared Kushner has apparently made. Small government activists in the Republican Party, the ones that want to deregulate everything, say that the only thing the federal government should serve to do is things that the states can't do for themselves. Well, you know what the states can't do for themselves? Negotiate prices against foreign bidders effectively enough to get the things that they need. So that's a service that the federal government can perform that the states cannot. That's what they all say they want, but it turns out what they really want is just to kill poor people, of which there are a great many in Alabama, now that I'm thinking about it.
I mean, evidence is evidence, right?
Yeah. I get my physics from dissident thinkers. That's the same place I get my weed. So
Yeah, I was just thinking like, so you're an anti-vaxxer level thinker then, as far as physics is concerned.
yeah, dissident thinkers are dissidents mostly because they're wrong.
That's
Some
exactly
are
it.
because they're ahead of their time or they're onto something
And-
that nobody else gets yet. But
Right.
mostly,
And
they're people who've
that's
been
fun, right?
ridiculed off critical thinking island is how they
That-
became dissident thinkers.
that's exactly it. You know, like I absolutely love finding dissident thinkers in actual physics, not playground like anti-vaxxer Facebook groups,
Right.
because that's how things expand. That's how things move forward, right? Like I'm always extremely interested in finding credible versions of that. But they're few and far between because we know a lot of things and we know how we know a lot of things. And that's
Right.
what makes these conversations so frustrating, because it goes back to the epistemological argument that we have all the time now, right? Oh, you think vitamin C will cure this? That's fantastic. I'm going to completely and totally deny that it's real until you show me credible ways that it's actually being used,
Right.
and how you know what you know. Because
Right.
how you know what you know, doesn't matter what it is kind of all the marbles, especially now with, you know, fake news. Like people think they know all sorts of shit and they just don't. Like
Gee,
the
Rupert.
vast majority of people don't know anything.
It's almost as if this administration doesn't understand how a federal government works. It's exactly like that.
That's the title of this book.
Because they fired all the people that know how a federal government works,
Yeah.
or downsized them, or moved their entire administration from Washington, D.C. to the middle of the country and told them they had 30 days to move or lose their jobs. That's what they did to the FDA, which, by the way, has stopped inspecting meat, because why does that matter now? Right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Maria says they're trying to shift blame to the states and justified on Fox News. Yeah, that sounds.
So yeah, Bubba Biz is an anti-vaxxer now too.
Okay.
So that checks. I mean, that checks out. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, that's where we're at. I'm not gonna get into that. Yeah, Dave said sad that in 2020 critical thinking has to be on an island. That's just
We got to keep it safe.
Right?
Safe
Yeah.
from harm.
critical thinking and critical thinkers need to self isolate like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And well, Greg, you remember like when we were initially talking about fake news as a phrase, and I was kind of cautioning
Bad about
against
it.
using it.
Yeah.
And in around that time, I was also saying that like I want shit thinkers to be quarantined.
Right.
Right. And that I can't stop thinking about that now. Like if you're spreading, well, and it's why I, you know, kind of tripled down on the whole, if you share misinformation on my page, I'm going to block you forever, not for a
Right.
minute. I'm going to literally excise you from my life and my page instantaneously, because this is too important, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about DeSantis and the churches, or should we talk about the fact that the national rules are supposed to defer to state rules at all times, even the idiots?
By the way, the idea that the governor doesn't have the power to keep churches from meeting is false. The fire
Of course he
code,
does.
The fire
Yeah.
code can be changed. There's lots of ways the government can own this process, but owning this process does not seem to be something our governor is equipped for. And we knew that when he made that stupid "build the wall" commercial with his infant child.
Yeah. When people tell you who you are or who they are, you should listen.
Yeah.
Because he very much did.
Yeah. He was just draining the swamp. Oh, God. The captain of the ship that complained that sailors were dying and there was no need for it has been fired by the United States Navy. Been decommissioned.
So I didn't
you,
get into that story. Like, was it because he wasn't getting any help from the actual military that he decided to write a letter about it? Like, what happened there?
The letter was apparently released outside of normal channels. It was actually an uphill memo to his command structure. And
Oh, wow. Okay.
The problem with this is that they're right. You cannot have frontline military unit commanders talking about force readiness in the open. You just can't.
But you just said that's not what he did, though, right?
Well, I think there's some ambiguity whether he leaked it or someone else leaked it. But if they fired him, I'm pretty sure there's no ambiguity.
Okay.
And,
well,
you know,
I mean, it's the Trump administration, so
yeah. You know who I would listen to about this is I would be reading Stone Kettle the next couple of days, because I'm sure he's going to have a lot of accurate, informed information about this.
Yeah.
I have another friend I might reach out to and ask what he thinks, but I'll tell you, what you can't do is have military unit commanders publicizing that their
lack of readiness.
Yes, you can't. You cannot have that because bad actors are looking for those vulnerabilities every minute of every day, around the clock, around the calendar.
Right.
Never a good idea to tell the North Koreans that 30,000 U.S. servicemen in South Korea are sick.
But that, I totally get that. But like my that was my first thought, is like, well, that makes sense, right? My second thought is, if you were a commander of an aircraft carrier and all of the people left in the upper echelons of power, including the Pentagon, are all Trump acolytes, and you were trying to get help and they ignored it for a month, like,
well, here's the truth. Even though he lost his job, his sailors are going to be evacuated from that ship and given medical care. So a good commander will often sacrifice themselves, their careers, actually their actual lives, to make sure that their command structure is safe. And this appears to be what this captain of the ship did. So he got the help that he asked for his people. And that's what those people do every day. Yeah.
Okay. Now that I just gotta throw a quick fuck you to Zoe, because every time I do this now, I start thinking about very, very sick jokes, and it's all your fault. Like, I just want to make myself feel better. Wait, I'm stroking a baby Yoda on the internet. God damn it!
Yeah.
Fucking Pornhub baby Yoda. That's where we're at now.
Oh my goodness.
Jesus. That shit was funny. I tried to explain that to somebody who had not been here for all of the different parts of the discussion that led to that awesome joke.
Right.
It didn't go well at all.
Let's see.
Context is so important.
Somebody just where'd it go? Ginny, can we get clarification about the safer at home from yesterday? It went from state is the strictest to counties and cities can have stricter rules. I don't know, because it basically said that the state rule will supersede any local rules, and I took that to mean that Broward and Dade County don't have the power to tell churches no, you can't meet, and which I think is probably not cool. So I think it was ambiguous and stupid, and I think that he needs to clarify it live on national television. That would be helpful. So, yeah, I'm going to make $1 million off you, Corey.
That makes me very excited. Please do that. That would be amazing. Warren said, we're sharpening our hockey sticks here in Canada, preparing to take over the United States.
You guys gonna burn down the White House again?
Yeah,
I'll
Boxer
pay
said
you $50.
Yeah,
I'll
Boxer said,
you
Warren,
$50.
Yeah, Warren, please take it. Yeah, could you come liberate the United States and bring your healthcare? Because that'd be great. That'd be good.
Oh my goodness! Do not violate Baby Yoda.
Right? I don't want to.
Yeah.
By the way, that's Baby Yoda's mom.
Jen Rakita is the person that crafted the Baby Yoda, and I had to move my Sasquatch because he was near the window and he kept getting blown over with the breeze. But she also made me this amazing, just keeping it real knitted Sasquatch.
Just keeping it real.
With the big feet. Yeah, so I'm very excited about my my Sasquatch. I got all choked up, which is why I wanted Corey to open his on the air, because I knew he would too, and it happened.
It's adorable. Like, come on now.
10:07 a.m. It was perfect.
It was good stuff.
All right.
Why have a shelter?
Getting people in the door to get their collection money? Fact.
Yeah, 100%. It's like every restaurant. They're not allowed to open, but churches can, because God. Why have a shelter in place if you allow church folk to congregate? Exactly. Like, I don't know. And the whole bringing up the constitutionality of it. Like, I'm not sure we can do that constitutionally. Well, then you should read Check's notes, the Constitution, because it absolutely doesn't say anything about that.
Yeah, the other thing is that's an essential service, according to local county commissioner Jack Mariano, is golf courses are open, and he's.
Are you fucking serious?
Oh no, I have a screen cap of it if you want to see it. Let me see.
I don't. I kind of don't want. Yeah. I do, but I also don't.
Well, I will never stop reminding people that when we did the pit count in 2017 that you participated in, Jack Mariano was playing golf that day while we were out. Talking to homeless people and getting a real understanding of the homeless situation in our county. One of our county commissioners was playing golf whole day and attending a Republican fundraiser. So very helpful in times of crisis.
I mean, it's sort of the default position, right? I mean, that's one of the ongoing themes for me throughout this whole thing is that, the now that these issues of lack of care or lack of capacity, lack of a real safety net are a problem for everyone, suddenly everyone cares.
Yep.
When for a third to half the country, issues like this have been an issue for a long time, even more so
Right.
for healthcare, right? Like that. And the whole idea that you want to tie healthcare to your job, well, 30% of people might lose their jobs in this country like this month.
Yeah.
So now what, right? Cobra? With what money?
Oh, which is ridiculously, horribly
Right.
expensive and
It's just
difficult to navigate.
This is the thing. Like while Bernie Sanders has done so much to annoy the fuck out of me in the last year and a half and
Right.
should immediately drop out of this race, the idea that a truly universal system is far superior and far cheaper to the one we have now, even though there's 1,000 different arguments about how you can implement it. There's 1,000 different arguments about price. All that aside, because it doesn't fucking matter now, right? And honestly,
Right.
for half the country, it didn't matter before. It just was harder to see if you were fine yourself. He's right. Like that. Anyone in Canada that isn't worth over $1 million will tell you the same thing.
Yeah. Well, that whole idea that universal healthcare works better and is cheaper is, strictly theoretical, Corey. It's like black holes.
So yeah, it's not like there's like a mountain of evidence for it.
No,
It's
there
just
are
that,
other theories, though.
well, here's the thing. Like the biggest thing that I'm finding that is similar here is that there's tons of evidence for it, but some people just don't understand that evidence yet or refuse to look at it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole American exceptionalism, right? Like there's no way that some other industrialized nation could be doing this better than us. Rio falls into that trap all the time. The last Moving Forward podcast that we just did, I think it was yesterday, we put it out. Like he's got no idea that he lives in a third world country and he's just privileged.
Right.
But for, a giant 30 to 50% of the population, it can be like that. Or you're a week away from that. You're one paycheck away from that.
Yeah.
And he just has no concept to it. Like still thinks in terms of like.
I got a whole bibliography list of Latin American countries where the privileged elite thought everything was fine until peasants started showing up and burning down their fucking estancias. There's a lot of evidence for that being true, that we are indeed a third world country being run by privileged people who don't know how a grocery scanner works because somebody shops for them, who don't know how to make themselves a cheeseburger because somebody runs out to the local McDonald's and gets it for them. That seems to be a thing. A boxer cat asking, well, first thing she said was, if you can afford Cobra, you don't need a job. That's a fact. She also asked, can they not have video church and PayPal? Guess what? The River Church, the church in Tampa that pastor did that service from, was live streaming it. They have live streaming capability, and they had it on the day, and they still had hundreds of people show up for church because he didn't discourage them. In fact, he encouraged them to come to church, saying that their air cleaning filtration system would kill all those germs. All of those viruses will get killed at 100 miles an hour, is how he said it. Like so fast, you won't even believe it.
But let's all get in a group and sing,
right?
Because we're stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm sure I'll bet you Sunday they have services at that church again. I'll bet you he starts to make a thing out of getting arrested every Sunday until all of his parishioners are dead or sick. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Casey said the U.S. pays approximately 2 times per capita. It's actually sometimes closer to 3. What all other developed nations on Earth pay. And of course, the difference is for twice that price, we cover 80% of our population. Everyone else is 100%. And I would argue that like 30% of that 80% probably isn't very well covered and could still go bankrupt very easily.
And our outcomes are worse than theirs.
Yeah.
So we're paying more for worse outcomes. That's where we are healthcare wise here. And the medical professional on my couch is nodding along with me. So that's always cool when that happens.
Yeah.
I like it when people smarter than me think I'm right.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Yeah. Thinks he needs ID to buy cereal. Remember that when Trump said you need ID to buy groceries at the store? That's not how this works, Mr. Trump.
Yeah.
Mr. Trump. Sherry, can we remind people to be kind and patient with restaurant workers? Yes, please. At Daryl's Starbucks yesterday, a man was pissed the cafe isn't open, spat on the door, and trashed one of the dumpsters. Wow, that's charming.
Fucking serious.
That's charming.
Ay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, David said gun stores and churches being essential is the very definition of America, and I wish I could argue that, but it's true.
Right. I didn't know that. Michelle apparently knows Rodney Howard Brown, who's the pastor of that church. I had fights about Rodney Howard Brown when I was with the church with my pastors. I got called into the office for being blasphemous. No fucking way.
Huh.
I have a goddamn hard time believing that.
Also, like anyone that gets called into any office for being blasphemous in any way deserves a medal. It just, I would like to have that medal. Here is your blasphemy. Yeah, 100% well played. The context is irrelevant, or tangential.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Is there anybody? Okay, there are no manatees on the feed right now, but I thought I would share this amazing, beautiful thing. This
you just have a moment of zen.
Yeah.
Is that live?
Yes, this is live from Homosassa Springs State Park. This is their underwater camera. There are often manatees tooling around in the spring head there. Isn't that pretty? Those are mangrove snapper, by the way. That school of fish on the right side of the screen.
I want to go to there.
In case Corey was wondering.
I was. Thank you. I was really wondering.
Yeah.
What's really fun is I actually knew what those were.
You did.
Probably.
Did you really?
Yeah, but honestly, probably only from you.
Yeah, that's pretty. I miss your dock, man. I miss being able to sit out there and see all sorts of stuff swimming by and flying by. Those were good times.
Yep.
Yeah, so there you go. Little
cool. All right.
Little moment of truth and beauty from the natural world this morning. The number of fish in the springs is starting to thin out a little bit because it's getting warmer and they start heading back out to warmer Gulf waters now. But wintertime, there'll be thousands of these mangrove snappers stacked up in front of the camera. So, yeah, there you go. A little something for you. I'm going to drop the link to that. I've had that running on my desktop sometimes for hours at a time. Yeah, because it's awesome and I love it. There we go. Boom. Warren Reddle, I'm expecting to hear that the government is allowing pipeline to be built over the mountains in BC while everyone is in their homes. That's actually something I'm aware of because I have friends on the Sunshine Coast of British Columbia, which is out just sort of on the mainland, but north of Vancouver, pretty remote coast. And they are actually talking about that story this week, that they are probably going to use this opportunity to build the pipeline when nobody can show up to vote against it. So that's awesome. Can you eat them? Pipelines, I wouldn't recommend it. But mangrove snapper, yes, you can. They are probably the premier panfish from this part of Florida. Like they usually don't get big enough for you to really fillet them. So you would cook mangrove snapper whole. You know, you would gut them and cook them whole, and they are outstanding food. Really wonderful. One of my favorite things. Yeah. So there. I also, you should not eat manatees, although I am told it is delicious. They are endangered and you should not eat them. Yeah. Boxer Cat says Rocky Mountain National Park has been closed since March 20th. I think all the national parks are closed at this point. I know all of our state parks are closed and most of our local parks are closed, although Port Richey has left their city parks open. You just can't use the restroom facilities and the dog park. They're closing all the city parks at dusk in Port Richey, and I believe Newport Richey is doing the same thing. Yeah, pipeline full of yummy tar sands. I looking at tar sands, I think it probably tastes like black licorice, which is not something I enjoy, so I probably wouldn't try it.
And it's significantly worse. It's crazy what they have to do to it to get the oil out of it too. Like, and I can't imagine that. Like if the price of oil doesn't recover really, really quickly, all of those businesses should go under anyway. And I hope they let them. Because they need like $80 a barrel or something, or at least 60. I can't remember what it was, but like the tar sands was like really, really high.
And it's super abrasive to all the equipment they use to move, transport, and process it too.
It's really, really expensive.
Sandblasting through a high pressure pipe system, which seems like a really great idea.
I mean, or we could make some fucking solar panels.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I got some open questions about the coronavirus thing.
Okay.
I just scanned through Fred's article, and basically until March 26th, the number of cases was going up by actually the number of deaths was going up rate by 10 times every 10 days. So it's like a logarithmic graph from hell.
Right.
And there's an inflection point after March 26th where that curve gets bent slightly, and so we're on a different trajectory. And that's more or less when the social distancing stuff would have time to percolate into the system to start seeing a net result from that. So now we're at like 10x in a month, if that holds. And I mean, I can't see anything in the system that suggests that it won't. And so like the Washington study that everyone's using, that the president is citing constantly now, oh, we're only going to have 100 to 200,000 deaths. I know most of you guys probably know this, but that's utterly bullshit, because that study assumes perfect mitigation, like full statewide shelter-in-place lockdowns,
Like
for every state,
like South Korea style or Taiwan style lockdown.
Right. So we're seeing that in some areas where it's being enforced intelligently, but that's not enough, right? Because this is not like a closed border. California is not a closed system. New York is not a closed system. And of course, we have Florida, that is the embarrassment of the country as usual, right? With what DeSantis is doing. So, like, until I start seeing some evidence to the contrary, I think we're probably going to go over 1 million dead people, which is like hard to process. That's probably the understatement of the year word.
Yeah, start toting up our entire national history war dead. And
yeah, like we're going in that direction, which is crazy. And watch, like, hey, we kept the deaths under 900,000 is something you will hear the president say as a win, which is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
One of the most interesting things that I'm seeing is that, and again, this presumes mitigation in Florida that's not happening. The numbers in Florida from that Washington study are really, really low. And I don't understand how they're calculating that yet.
Right.
And I don't know if it has something to do with the seasonality or if it's just the rate. They're basically suggesting that the amount of time that we would spend over the curve, like basically over hospital capacity, would be relatively low, that kind of thing. And that's like all the marbles, right? Like that's where things get really, really ugly. So if anyone gets any good information on how they're making the models for Florida, I would like to see them.
Right.
Because quite frankly, I am planning my whole life around these models and trying to get a beat on when I will get to go home.
Yeah, Florida is not expected to peak until mid-May. Yeah,
that checks out.
May 6th is the day that I heard.
Yeah,
I'm going to be surprised if that actually happens.
That's sort of where I'm at too. Like
I think the cow is out of the barn on this.
Well, and if it peaks mid-May, that might mean that the social distancing stuff was kind of working, and so the peak might be lower, right? So that's the thing. Like the farther out the peak is seen, chances are that the better our healthcare capacity is going to be able to match it, right?
Right. Yeah, Ginny also said she likes it when Greg makes the Minecraft villager noise. So I was watching a video
in Minecraft all the time.
There's a group called Hermitcraft that run an amazing server, and they all live stream, and they do Facebook videos or YouTube videos about their the world that they're building. And they have a plugin that changes the Minecraft villager noise to hello, hello, hello. So instead of just making that noise when you walk by villagers, they all say hello to you. It's actually more annoying than the villager noise in Minecraft. So there's that.
Hey, Casey brought this, and thank you for mentioning this again. Countries with lower death rates have universal tuberculosis vaccination since the 20s.
Yep, and we don't vaccinate for tuberculosis.
I did not know that. That's very interesting to me.
Yep, it's one of the few reportable conditions when I do a client intake in my world. Is there are certain communicable diseases we must report to the state authorities, and the one that we currently have on the list is tuberculosis because of the danger to other clients who might be immunocompromised. You can't have people gathering up in a group room if they're TB positive. So we have to ask that question and report it if we come across an active case of TB in one of our groups. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sylvester said almost 6,000 dead by August 4th, according to the model. Corey speaks to you again. If perfect mitigation, that's just in Florida. That's the thing. Like, I think that's wrong by 100%. Like, I think it's going to be twice as bad.
Yeah, there you go. Ginny, accurately, Corey, Florida's under testing, and with the story yesterday that about 50% of the negative results could have been a false negative, we are massively undercounting.
Wow.
And it is massively worse. I know for a fact that a North Pinellas testing center had to retest almost 1,000 tests they had performed because the batch had gotten contaminated in some way and was not valid. So mistakes are being made in the testing process itself, in the processing of those tests. I wish I had better news about that, or a better feeling about how the news is going to go about that, but I actually think it's going to be significantly worse than projections are showing.
Yeah, that checks out with my sort of gut check on it, just for everything, because again, like, we're looking at so many different data sets, and we have been for a lot longer than other communities, right? So it some of it is just going to not pass the smell test. And that testing, Ginny, I think that you're totally right about that. Until we see perfect ubiquitous testing, we have to take literally everything they say with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Wait, Casey's saying no. U.S. is not using TB vaccines. They interfere with TB skin tests. Will give false positive TB results due to the presence of antibodies against TB.
What is that referring
must
to?
Be a side conversation that I wasn't reading up on there. Sorry.
Okay.
No one knows what they're doing because there are no federal guidelines and directives. Well, no, Jared Kushner is all over this, Silvestri. Jared Kushner has this completely under control. I'm sure he's getting yelled at today for sending those rotten masks to a red state.
Yeah, maybe by his wife. These half measures are way too little, way too late. I think that's really going to be the story of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the patchwork nature of it, all that kind of thing is ridiculous.
Right.
I do want to talk. We for the last Moving Forward podcast, we went over the stimulus, kind of going over the numbers and details, and I found out some things that I want to make sure you guys know, because if you have a version of Baby Yoda that you can pet, you're going to want to be petting it. When I tell you what I need to tell you about what's in the small business stuff. So you've heard the I think it's like 500 billion or 600 billion for small businesses. And it's loans, but it turns into a grant if you can show that you used it for some specific things. The first and foremost that everyone was worried about was payroll, right? So the idea is, let's say, Greg, you and I want to take like a $9 million, because it's up to 10 million, right? So we want to take a $9 million loan.
Okay. Which, by the way, I wish we could do, because
that would be really cool.
Start a radio station.
Except we could do all sorts of crazy things. It probably makes more sense to talk about this in the context of Mears Plumbing.
Right.
The less than 500 employees, that kind of thing, right? So they could, and you don't have to take the backs. You sort of take whatever you need, but they probably could. So you take that, and if anything you use on payroll is automatically deductible, so that's cool, right? So it's like, shelter in place for business kind of thing. Everybody who's working gets their same paychecks. Everybody's happy, right? Now, you can also, out of that 10 million, get rid of any rents or mortgages that you're paying, right? So
yeah,
their mortgage on the building they just bought, or the mortgage on the place that they or leasing or whatever down in Sarasota, right?
Okay.
So they can cover all of that. Do you know any people that are getting their rent or mortgage covered, like humans?
No.
Me neither.
There's a moratorium on evictions and foreclosures for 45 days,
right, which is great, but you still owe all the money, because go fuck yourself, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that really got me, but that's not even the worst part. Like, I could be convinced that was okay, sort of like if I bend myself in the right sort of contortionist ways, fine, okay, we'll make that work. This is what got me. You can also pay off any existing debt.
Okay.
So let's say you're Mears Plumbing and you borrowed $9.9 million for Project A through B. You're paying it all off. Everything's honky-dory. You can get this loan, pay off all of your existing debt, fire every single one of your employees, and walk the fuck away.
So you can fire employees under this relief package?
100%.
Oh
They
my
don't say you have to use it for payroll. They said if you use it for payroll, you get to keep that money. You don't have to pay it back. But you can also do that for existing debt.
Right. Oh my
So
God.
if you have $1 million worth of, it's literally handing small businesses money. It's just handing them money. Here's $1 million. That $1 million you owe, you're not ever gonna have to pay that again. That's like human beings getting their house bought off. That's like them, saying to Michelle, hey, that $250,000 in student loans, if you get this loan and then pay off your student loan with it, we'll just say that loan was a grant. $600 billion, twice as much as they're giving to people, and they're just going to hand it to companies. And like, who knows how much that'll actually end up being. Again, the payroll stuff is good. The rent and mortgage stuff is annoying, but okay, even though people don't get that, any existing debt you have, they will literally just give you money to pay it off. That is like fucking highway robbery is what that is. It's debt forgiveness, but only for businesses, and human beings can go fuck themselves.
But sadly, you know how this is going to land on most people? I'm going to be checking my bank balance every day to see if my $1,200 stimulus is in there.
100%.
That's
well,
as
and
far
like,
as most people are going to think about any of this.
Rio tried to pivot to that and saying that I'm just hostile towards business. If you want to go listen to that episode, I still love Rio to death, but I fucking chewed his face off.
Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm fucking fine. Here's Baby Yoda. It's good. Yeah, like, and again, Casey, if you've looked at that, like, I would love for somebody to do a better. This was like an NPR thing that I read on that. If somebody could find something that shows that what I read was not true, that would be great. Because I can't imagine that they would successfully be able to slip that in. And again, like
Ginny is saying, if you fire employees, you have to pay the loan back. If you keep employees, you get to keep the money.
Well, that's not actually true, right? So if you use the money for payroll, you get to keep the money, right? If you use the money for rent and mortgage, you get to keep that money. And if you use the money for mortgage and debt, you get to keep that money, right? So that
without regard to, because I
absolutely no connection
retention
whatsoever. It's like, I'm going to loan you this money. If you use this money for payroll, you don't have to pay it back. That's awesome. That's the part of the deal we all sort of understood.
Right.
However, if you use the money for rent and mortgage, you don't have to pay that back either. And if you use the money to pay off debt, you don't have to pay that back either. There is no connection between those things. So if you wanted to fire all of your employees and just use it to pay rents and mortgages, I saw nothing that wouldn't allow you to do that.
Wow.
The only thing that would get in the way of rampant abuse of that is the stuff that Elizabeth Warren and other people put in the bill as far as transparency and requirements.
Right.
But again, the Trump administration put a signing letter onto the actual bill saying they were going to completely ignore that.
Right.
So, and again, like, oh, they would never be able to do that. Yeah, they fucking would. They're just going to do it. And then it'll get in the courts and we'll spend, years in the courts and it won't ever matter. Like they're stealing $1 trillion.
Yeah, well.
Right. That's exactly it. We're so tired that like now it's just like,
Sure,
pandemic. That's cool.
All right, I want to wrap this up pretty soon because
it.
I have a 12 o'clock boat reservation.
Get Otter hair.
Yeah, Otter hair.
I don't know. Get out of here. But Otter hair.
I kind of got it, but
yeah.
So good news. We're still alive.
And apparently black holes aren't real.
Yeah.
Okay. LIGO is a scam. Like, both of us, you've said some dumb things and you've said some not dumb things. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to be back. Are we doing church this Sunday? I don't know if I can pull off running the server and live streaming from my laptop.
Maybe we should have like an all points, just a redesign so we can get the idea of it, but not because like I can't. I have no way of doing it.
Right.
The old way.
You just want to do a live stream on Sunday morning?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so. Because I would love to have that community obviously wanted us to keep doing some stuff. So
Right. Well, a bunch of us were in the Minecraft server on Sunday morning, so that was cool. Got to see Bob and got to see Donna.
Wunderbar.
Yeah, so the server is still active and working. If you guys have the Java edition of Minecraft, we would be happy to add you to our Cathedral of Gratitude and our server, and you can go in there and build cool stuff. And there is some amazing building going on, by the way. I don't know if you've been in there recently, but there's some cool stuff going on.
I haven't, Greg.
Yeah.
Sad.
We should figure out how to get that fixed. Okay, so
but Baby Yoda porn is real, and it's a moneymaker. I mean, honestly, like probably. So I hope that you prosper.
There's an angry mob in my apartment now. They're mad about the Baby Yoda porn.
Yeah, this is not
Donna
related.
has a pitchfork right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for you.
Insert coming joke here.
Oh God, no, please no. All right, so that's going to do it for Hashtag Coffee for Friday, April 3rd, 2020. And we'll be back with another Hashtag Coffee show on Monday morning, 10 o'clock. That's what we're doing. And we'll see you maybe here for a live stream on. So you want to do, do you want to do the Sunday stream on Facebook or on YouTube? I
mean, it lives on the YouTubes, so probably that.
All right, so we'll do that on Sunday morning. We'll look for live stream Sunday, and then Monday our regular show. Yes.
Anyone who's interested, I would also love to have anybody who wants to come into that actual Zoom join us in Zoom for that. So it's like more fellowship, more community, more everybody actually hanging out together.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. That'd be cool. And we'll post that link in the Church of Reason group. So if you're not part of the Church of Reason group, join it or ask us to add you to it, and we can get that stuff squared away.
Yeah. Also, we reserve the right to go live just because we feel like it on Facebook once in a while, because it's been fun and it's been heartwarming. So look for us over there as well. But we're going to be more and more off of Facebook, I think, in the months to come. Corey's got some big ideas about that, and we'll figure out how to involve all of you and start building a new home. All right. That's going to do it for us for Hashtag Coffee today. I am Greg Smithwick. That's Corey Cottrell. Although if you read the screen, it says we're both Corey Cottrell, but that's because
I think that's fixable. Just in case we're
but I'm signing on to the pay account so we can do longer live.
No, I know. You could change my display name in the paid account. Fuck yeah, I don't care.
All right. Well, then won't it show up that way in yours? Then we would both be Greg Smithwick, and that wouldn't be helpful either.
So we could change it to
we look
guacamole,
that,
or Hashtag Coffee, or Sasquatch is real.
Dave, what he's saying is when we do the church service on Sunday morning, we would like people to join us in the Zoom call. So if you want to participate in that, we'll put the link in the comments, and people can click on it and join us on video from your own isolation chamber.
Yeah.
All right. We love you guys very much. Have a great day. And Sasquatch is real. And I know this because Sasquatch is
you've got that. It's like right there,
hanging out on my desk with me right now. Love you guys. Have a great day. Be sane. Be safe.